Hey, what's up everybody, it's your boy Commandment of Patience aka Ryan Trunky back again with a new video. So today I'm gonna do what if Naruto was Madara grandson part 3, so let's get started. So last time we start when Minato gathers what left of his chakra, pushing it to his eyes as they start spinning and say in a weak tone, Tsukuyomi. Minato starts waving, his eyes are starting to drift off and he says, Naruto, listen to what your mother said and grow up to be strong and brave shinobi. And with the last of his strength he whispered a Tirigam seal. And now, in every shinobi village there is a reminder of their previous leaders and heroes to honor their memory and sacrifice they did to protect the defend their homes. In Konoha there is a certain amount that show exactly that. Sorry guys about my voice, it's a little bit so yeah. The mountain was actually called Hokage, leader of the Leaf Village mountain, and in there it were carved the previous and current Hokages of the Leaf Village, and in faces legendary shinobi Shinjo Hashirama, Shodaime Hokage, leader of the Shinjo clan, one of the founder of the Leaf Village and the first user of the Mokuton element. He was carrying the kind person that dedicated to serve his village. However, he ended up dying during the first Shinobi War. His fight against Uchiha Madara had taken a toll and left him permanently weakened. He was at the time of his death a shell of his former self, but even now, about 80 years after his death, he is still deemed by everyone in the village. The second phase belonged to Shinjo Tobirama, the Nandame Hokage. He was Hashirama's younger brother and became Hokage after his brother's death. He too was very strong shinobi. In fact, each of the Hokage was hailed as the strongest shinobi of their time. Tobirama was known for his extremely high water affinity that allowed him to use high-ranked move in place without water. By condensing the air around him, he too lost his life fighting in the second Shinobi War, but before his death, he appointed Hirozen Sarutobi, one of his students, as Sandaime Hokage, or the third Hokage. So the third Hokage on the mountain was Sarutobi Horizon of the Sarutobi clan, known for their monkey summoning and extreme skill in taijutsu, hand-to-hand combat. Horizon is currently around 55 years old. He is one of the most powerful shinobi in the village, but in his prime time, he was hailed as Shinobi no Kami, god of the shinobi, mostly because of his skill in ninjutsu that allowed him to combine different elements to his attacks. Horizon is the current leader of the Leaf Village after his successor of the Yondaime Hokage died. The last phase of the monument was Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage, hailed as the strongest of the Hokages. He was also the fastest shinobi to ever live in the element nations. Not even the Raikage with a lightning armor could compete with him in speed. He was known for his use of the Harishan no Jutsu Flying Thunder God technique, a S-rank technique of his creation that allowed him to move at almost speed of light. This technique was the reason that he was known as Yellow Flash, due to his blonde hair. The only thing that people managed to see was a yellow flash due to his speed. In the Leaf Village, he was a hero that sacrificed his life to kill the Kyuubi no Yoko that attacked the village 5 years ago. And here, 5 years later, after the Kyuubi attacked, is where our story truly began. With a small boy that, despite being mistreated his whole life, will rise to become the legend he was born to be. So now, after the Kyuubi attacks, as you know, it was a warm night in the Leaf Village. The sun was just going down. It was starting to dim. A town light were coming up, and we still could see many people going around the village doing their business. Unlike many other villages, even though Konoha was the most powerful village in the Element Nation, it didn't seem militaristic or cold. Many people, if they saw Konoha, would say that it wasn't a shinobi village. However, the mountain that surrounded the north part of the village was that giveaway, and there were carved the faces of the most powerful shinobi to ever live. It was October the 10th. The village was covered in decoration and celebrating the defeat of the QB that attacked 5 years ago. Everyone in the village was happy. It were times of peace that were long forgotten, but not the hate and pain of many that were lost. Although everyone seemed happy, one particular kid was very sad and lonely. Uzumaki Naruto was an orphan of the QB attack. He was about 120 centimeters and I think 311 feet, and had spiky blonde hair and bluest eyes anyone ever had in his cheek. He had 3 whiskers mark, a birthmark. He was wearing a white shirt with short sleeveless with an orange swirl in his back and black pants. Despite being what appeared to be a normal child, Naruto was hated and despised by most of the village. He was a painful reminder of the QB attack. He was expelled from the orphanage at the age of 4. He lived in the street for about a month until the Hokage Imbus found him and took him to the Sunday. Sunday eventually became grandfather figure to him. He gave Naruto a small apartment and allowance to live, but Naruto was constantly pursued by the villagers and constantly abused and beaten. The stores kicked him out or sold him rotten merchandise and charged twice the price. Even in the orphanage, he still received the same treatment. Growing up in the kind of life forced Naruto to mature quickly. If he wanted to survive because of this treatment, Naruto became a highly intelligent kid that could rival a Nara. He became cold and calculative to everyone except his closest people, that in his case were simply the Hokage himself. In the owner of the ramen stand, only 3 people cared for Naruto and wondered if he was eating or sleeping well. During his birthday, things were even worse because the villagers and few shinobi would gather up and hunt him down like an animal. And there is where we are. A scared kid was running through the streets of Konoha trying to his best to avoid the villagers and shinobi. It's like in hot pursuit. The villagers were shouting, "Die demon, get him, finish what the Yondame started." By the way, Yondame is the 4th Hokage, so yeah. Naruto wondered what did he ever do to deserve such a treatment and harsh life. "Stop, please. What did I ever do to any of you?" asked Naruto, running as fast as he could, his legs starting to give away. "Oh, please. You know very well what you did. You killed my brother and my father," shouted one of the villagers as he threw an empty barrel. "We'll finish what the Yondame started and kill the demon," the villager said as the others supported him. Naruto kept running until he looked behind to his pursuers and noticed that a couple of them appeared to be a shonen, medium level shinobi. Even though Naruto was a stamina freak, a 5 years old couldn't compete with the speed of a shonen. The shonen nin quickly closed the distance between him and Naruto. He took out a kunai and did a horizon slash. Naruto, seeing the kunai that would most likely kill him, he ducked. While he was ducking, he noticed that the time appeared to be slowing down. After dodging the slash, he unwittingly channeled chakra to his legs, trying to jump over the fence to get away. The rest of the shinobi, seeing this, were actually surprised, but they couldn't let the demon get away, so all of them threw a couple of kunai at him while saying "Kunai case shuriken." no jutsu. The kunai multiplied to 15 and were going fast at Naruto. And Naruto, knowing that he couldn't dodge them all in midair, starts observing them and calculating the best way to avoid them. It was then that it happened. His vision suddenly became clearer and the incoming kunai seemed almost stop. Just by looking at them, he could see where they were landing. Reacting to his instinct, now Naruto quickly caught one kunai with his hand and started deflecting all of them except one that managed to pass his defenses and hit his shoulder. He cried out of pain but managed to get over the fence and safely. He pulled the kunai off his shoulder and noticed that the wound was already closing. I wonder why I am the only person to heal like this fast, he asked himself while walking through the village hidden in the shadow to avoid the villagers, but he quickly noticed that his vision was different. It was black and white and he could see people with the blue flames inside of them that surrendered their bodies. He tried to push his eyes to see better and suddenly he passed out in an alleyway. The stress of the air, like exhaustion of running and taking kunai to the shoulder, was too much. So Naruto mindscape. Naruto awoke in what it seemed to be a sewer. There were pipes in everywhere, like in the walls, and the floor was filled with water with about 20 centimeters in height, like 8 inches. He wandered through the endless corridors, wondering where he was when he heard soft male voice calling him. "Follow my voice," the strange voice said. Naruto didn't know him but was down to this voice. After walking for a couple minutes, Naruto found himself starting at the big iron door with a vertical bar. The middle of the door, it was a small paper with a kanji seal. He looked inside the cage but it seemed empty. "Hello there, Naruto," said the voice. Naruto jumped back surprised and noticed a man leaning on the sewer wall outside the cage. Naruto observed the man carefully. The man was about 190 centimeters in height, about 6 feet 2.2. He had spiky blonde hair with 2 bangs that framed his face and had blue eyes. He was wearing full body blue suit and the standard jonin, like high level shinobi flat jack. He was also wearing a white cape with red flames and had a kanji for the Yondame Hokage. Then Naruto asked, "The Yondame Hokage?" He knew very well that what happened 5 years ago. He knew that the Yondame died to kill the QB. He was a hero. And then, "My name is Minato Namikaze and I am Yondame Hokage," he said, looking at the kid in front of him and wondered how it happened so soon. Naruto seemed 5 at the most. "How? You were supposed to be dead." "I am dead too?" Naruto asked. "No. You are not dead, but unfortunately I am," Minato replied. "But if you are dead, then where am I? And how do you know my name?" Then Naruto wondered what the hell was going on. Then Naruto, "I am going to explain everything to you, listen closely, okay?" He asked, to which Naruto nodded. "We are inside your mind. This is your mindscape. It's basically a representation of your mind in physical form, understand?" Naruto nodded. "Now, the truth is that I am your father." Then Naruto froze when he heard that. "No, it can't be. Gigi told me he didn't know whose my parents were." Naruto thought, You're my father? How?" Then Naruto asked, "Well, about the how you will find out when you're older." Minato said, chuckling, "But it's true. I am your father, and I am sorry I wasn't here with you, but I had to stop the QB. But listen, I don't have much time. You're probably wondering why this village treats you like a monster, to which Naruto slowly nodded. Well, there isn't any case way to say this, but 5 years ago when you were born, the Kyuubi attacked the village. Sometimes said that I killed the Kyuubi, but that is impossible. The Kyuubi is a mass of chakra without actually a physical body, so it can't die. The only way I had to stop the Kyuubi was to seal it inside a newborn baby. I'm sorry to say, but I had to seal it into you, he said with a bit shame, wondering how Naruto would react. Then, nah, what? What do you mean by sealed? I am the Kyuubi, he asked, now realizing what all the names that villager called him by. No, you're neither a monster nor the Kyuubi. You are my son, and by sealed I mean the Kyuubi is trapped in your gut. Behind these bars, Kyuubi come forward, Minato explained. Suddenly behind the bars of the empty cage, Naruto saw two glowing red eyes with black vertical slits. As the eyes approached to the door, he noticed the form fox with tails like swinging wildly in his back. There it stood behind the door, the most powerful being in the world, the most powerful of the 9 Biju, the Kyuubi no Yoko, the 9-tailed demon fox. Naruto seeing this jumped back, scared to see the monster that attacked the village and was responsible for many deaths. No need to fear me, kid, the Kyuubi said, watching the poor kid. He knew too well what the villager did to him. I can't breathe, help me, Minato said, getting Naruto's attention. This is the Kyuubi and he's not the demon everyone think he is. The attack 5 years ago was not his fault, Minato said, and started to explain what happened in the fateful night 5 years ago. From when Naruto was born to the masked man unleashing the Kyuubi and controlling it to attack the village, to Minato sealing him into him. Naruto was still frozen, absorbing what happened, everything his father was saying. Naruto didn't know what to say, it was just too much. Then Minato said, Naruto, I'm sorry that I had to seal the Kyuubi into you. You had a harsh life until now, but I trust you with this, it will be slightly better, Minato said, and touched Naruto's stomach, effectively transferring the seal key to Naruto and opening the cage. What are you doing? Naruto asked, worried that his father opened the cage and let the Kyuubi out. Then Naruto, I told you that it wasn't the Kyuubi fault that night. The Kyuubi will help you grow up and he'll be at your side to help you in your battle and provide advice. The only thing I ask for you is when you're close to your death that you release the Kyuubi. He didn't deserve to be trapped in the cage to be used as a weapon, Minato said. Will you really be my friend? Naruto asked, still a bit fearful of the fox. Then Kyuubi said, of course, I will take care of you and make you strong as you can and protect your home and friend, replied. And what happened next surprised everyone in the mindscape. Naruto suddenly left his father's side and jumped into the paws of the Kyuubi. So soft and warm, he said, getting shackled from both Kyuubi and Minato. Now, Naruto, there is more that I need to tell you. I don't know if you realized, but doesn't your vision seem different? Minato asked. Actually, it's all black and white, with your being blue and Kyuubi red, Naruto replied. Naruto, do you know who Uchiha Madara is? Minato asked, getting a disgusted growl from the Kyuubi, clearly showing no love for Uchiha leader. Yep, I know. He was one of the founders of the Leaf Village. It was the leader of Uchiha clan, I think. That's supposed to be one of the strongest in the world, Naruto said, surprising his father. Naruto, even though was 5 years old, was very smart and did like to read about. Going into the library was impossible as he was always expelled. Exactly, but you and anyone doesn't know it that Madara was in fact my father. I never said anything to anyone because I decided to keep it a secret, he said. Naruto's eyes widened when he discovered that the legendary Uchiha Madara was his grandfather. I am the son of the Yondaime Hokage and Konoha Flash and the great Uchiha Madara, There is no way I'm not becoming a Hokage, Naruto thought. With you being my Tosan, father, meaning, and Madara being my Oji-san, there is no way I'm not becoming Hokage. Believe it? Naruto yelled, like pumping his face to the air and getting a smile from Minato. I have no doubt you will, Naruto, Minato said, ruffling Naruto his hair. Now, you know that Uchiha clan have a bloodline, more specifically the Dojutsu, right? Naruto nodded. This bloodline is called the Sharingan, and you activated its first level. Looked at the floor. Naruto looked down and saw like the reflection in the water. His eyes were blood red, with the black tomoe in each eye. The Sharingan will evolve until fully matured, getting 3 tomoes in each eye. Minato concluded he didn't want to go any further into the Mangekyo. His time was ending and the QB could explain it if he ever unlocked it. God, I hope he never has to go through that, Minato thought. Oh, I knew I was awesome, Naruto said, happy about knowing everything about his family and finding he had the bloodline. Now, Naruto, pay attention to what I'm going to say, Minato started. I know that you always wanted a family, but you can't go to the Uchiha clan. Besides, having the QB in you, which if they find out that you are in Uchiha, they will use it for their own gain. I want you to be a good person and not arrogant, power hungry like an Uchiha are. Never rely too much on the Sharingan. Remember that the Sharingan is only a tool. Having it doesn't make you all powerful, okay? Minato asked, getting a nod. Okay, my time is ending. Everything I have, including my cleansing technique and weapon, are in Namikaze compound. And only you can enter since there is blood seal around it. Be careful so that no one finds out. I have many enemies as did Madara. If you ever wish to reveal your true heritage, I ask you to reveal when you are strong enough to protect yourself and anyone you care about. There are people that would stop at nothing to kill you or your friends to get revenge at me, Minato said with a bit regret. After all, during the Third Shinobi War, he was responsible for slaughtering Iwa forces. Do you know how to use chakra to deactivate your eyes? He asked, getting a nod from Naruto. I'm fading. My chakra is almost over. Remember, Naruto, me and your mother loved you very much, and I'm sorry that you had to live this life and growing up without love. Minato said sad on how everything turned out. He asked the Sunday so that the village saw Naruto as their hero, but he was too naive. Don't worry, Tosan. I got to meet you after all you did. What you needed to protect our home, Naruto said, getting a smile from Minato as he said to fade away until he was no longer standing in front of him. So I think this is a good time to end. So yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And
got a lot of dream, need to make it real. Gotta reach the top, homie, that's the deal. No need to rush, you just gotta chill. You have to be the champ in this battlefield. Oh, cause I'm heading to the top. To the sky, I'm climbing up. Man, I swear